This is November 16, 2016. Zero Hedge, less than 1 week after India's surprise move to scrap its highest denomination cash notes. Another front in the Cold War on cash has intensified down under in Australia. Yesterday, banking giant UBS proposed that eliminating Australia's $100 and $50 bills would be good for the economy and good for the banks. How convenient that a bank would propose something that's good for banks. Fancy that. This isn't the first time that the financial establishment has pushed for a cashless society in Australia or anywhere else. In September 2015, Australian bank Westpac published its cash-free report, stating that the country would become cashless by 2022. In July 2016, Australian payments firm Tiro published an enormously self-serving blog post touting the benefits of a cashless society and saying it's only a matter of time. But we know that. Most notably, 2 days ago, Citibank, yes, that Citibank, announced it was going cashless at some of its Australian branches. The media and political establishments have chimed in as well. In February of this year, the Sydney Morning Herald released a series of articles, some of which were written by officials from Australia's Department of the Treasury, suggesting that eliminating cash will save billions, and that moving to a cashless society is the next step for the Australian dollar. Yes, how about the New World Order? This is how it works. The government, media, banks, and even academia have formed a single, unified chorus to push this idea out to consumers that cashless is good for everyone. Yay! And it's happening across the planet, from Australia to India to Europe to North America. They're partially right. Going cashless will probably save a lot of money. Paper currency is costly to transport in large quantities due to the need for security. It's also accurate to suggest that going cashless will be good for the banks. UBS pointed out yesterday, demonetizing Australia's $50 and $100 bills would force anyone holding these notes to deposit them into the banking system. Oh, how convenient for banking. Bank deposits would rise as a result, and consequently, so would bank profits. Governments would profit from a cashless society because all savings would be in the banking system, and they have full regulatory control over the banks. Politicians would have more control over your savings with fewer obstacles to impose capital controls or engage in civil asset forfeiture. Even policy wonk academics would have a rare opportunity to take their lousy theories and PhD dissertations for a test drive. Everyone benefits from a cashless society except you. For individuals, cash still has plenty of important advantages. We know that. Cash is one of the few remaining options for financial privacy that doesn't create a permanent record of every purchase or transition you make. Very good. I'm sure we all use cash for reasons like that. It's also an easy way to reduce your exposure to risks in the broader financial system. Think about it. The banking system is full of institutions that never miss an opportunity to demonstrate they cannot be trusted with their money. Hardly a month goes by without some banking scandal. They're caught colluding on exchange rates, manipulating interest rates, fraudulently establishing fake accounts without customer consent, and then charging us on top of that. It's disgraceful. In addition, bank safety is far from certain in many banking systems across the world, especially in Europe right now. I know China is having major issues, and India. Okay, back. Banks have precariously low levels of capital and already suffering the effects of negative interest rates. Even in the United States, banks routinely employ very clever accounting tricks to conceal their true financial condition. There's also the fact that the moment you make a deposit at a bank, it's no longer your money. It becomes the bank's money. They can do with it what they please, whether it's freezing you out of your account or making idiotic investments with minimal reserve requirements. You have no say in the matter. As a banker depositor, You're nothing more than an unsecured creditor of a financial institution which may or may not allow you to withdraw your savings. If you don't believe me, take a trip to your bank and ask to withdraw $25,000 and see how quickly they treat you like a criminal terrorist. It's true. Just give it a try. Go and try withdrawing a large amount of cash and see what happens. Okay, cash essentially eliminates the middleman between you and your savings, at least the portion of your savings that can be easily exchanged for goods and services in the economy. Cash is a pitiful store of value over the long term. Precious metals and other real assets are much more better alternatives. But we can't walk into Starbucks and pay for a cup of coffee with a quarter-ounce silver coin. So until that day comes, cash remains an asset and you'll want to hold. Just make sure you don't go overboard. The war on cash is very real, so if you have more than a couple months worth of living expenses, you're taking an unnecessary risk. So keep the denominations low. As the cash with India shows, governments have no compunction about violating the public trust with immediate effect and without warning. So if you're in the U.S., don't keep a mountain of $100 bills in your safe. Keep 10s, 20s, and 50s. If you're in Europe, definitely avoid the 500 and 200 euro notes. Opt for 20s and 50s. Ooh, that's a picture. Yeah, I listened to the XR22 report and all, and others, financial experts, and I would totally, for what it's worth, agree. After what's happened with India and all, I would stick with smaller denominations and hard assets. That's just what the experts are saying. So God bless you all and have a wonderful day, evening, whatever it is for you. It's Shamira. I'm out.